All right, we are officially live and back from the dead. Week ago, 2 weeks ago, I was down with a migraine. Last week, Tank and his whole family got the flu. Tonight, we are without Smurf because he is at the Colorado Horror Festival board meeting. So you're stuck with just us. However, good news to the Nerds That Know universe. The Goon brothers, featuring Goon, who is currently in transit, and the King Goon from My Brother is an Idiot, have graciously agreed to spout their nonsense on our show on a regular basis. So they will now be with us as often as schedules permit. Which also means that when Tank or myself or Smurf have a scheduling conflict, you don't end up with just two people talking back and forth, because as fun as that can be, it's more fun when you have a crew of us together. So we do have me, Duchess Bobby, Tank, the proprietor of Nox Nostalgia Collectibles, and I will put in as many shameless plugs on that as I can. And I think, yeah, and here comes Goon himself, because the dog is freaking the fuck out. So hopefully he will come and join us if he is not dead. But today was Day of Giving at Jersey Mike's, and he worked a 12-hour day.
That's always fun.
On his feet, making sandwiches, baking bread, and, dealing with annoying phone calls. But that is neither here nor there. We also have with us King Goon, the oldest of the Goon brothers. And again, Matt thinks I'm funny.
That was hilarious.
She doesn't watch my show anyway.
Hi there. How are you?
I think I'm hilarious. Okay, so let's start with shows that nobody else watches. And I'm going to just pop right over to Bridgerton because I fucking love it. I've read the first 3 books. I have books 4 and 5. It is an 8-book series. We are supposed to be getting all 8 books, each as a different season. So we'll see. I hope that that's true. But so far, season 2 is sticking incredibly close to the books. Direct lines are being pulled out of the text, which just makes me really happy. There are times where a book adaptation is just incredibly upsetting. Little Women, for example. Not a good version of it out there.
The Dresden Files.
Absolutely. The Sword of Truth. What was that show called? Seeker. That show was terrible. I didn't even make it through a whole episode of Seeker. But Bridgerton, they're doing a really good job. There are a couple of things that happen in the book that are not able to happen in season 2. And that is because the guy who played the Duke, and I cannot remember the actor's name, I could probably pick his ass out of a lineup, but he's decided not to come back. So because of that, we see Daphne and we see the baby, but we don't ever see the Duke. So, but that's okay. Instead of them recasting, they just decided to, because he doesn't have a big part in the second storyline. So, all right, let's go ahead and go to another.
And future stuff, or?
I don't know what they're going to do. If they're going to recast him in the future, or if they're just going to say, screw it, and just completely keep him out of it. They haven't said for future seasons.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
But like I said, I'm really enjoying season 2. It makes me happy. And they have brought in Will, who was the boxer and the Duke's best friend in the first season. And they've given him a more prominent role in this season. Kind of like they still need to have a sexy, black man. And since the Duke is gone and all the Bridgertons are white, although the love interest is Indian, which is really cool. They even talk that she can speak different languages and dialects of her homeland.
Did he decide? Why did he decide not to return? I guess.
He didn't really say. He just said that he had fun and he was done.
I guess that's how it goes sometimes.
So Bridgerton is not for everyone, which is why Matt has never seen any of it.
I have not either.
I didn't even know it was a thing until you started.
I saw the
talking about
trailer
it the other day.
Okay. Well, thank you. At least know that it's a thing.
I do know it's a
we
thing.
talked about it when season 1 came out.
Yeah, and I looked into what it was, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Just not my cup of tea.
Mom loves it. She also has a big crush on the Duke.
Hmm.
When he shows up riding on a horse, and it's lovely. Okay. So let's move away from Bridgerton before I decide to spend the rest of the episode talking about it, and go over to something else that is based on printed materials, and that is the DMZ. This is a DC comic graphic novel series that I had never heard of until the show came out on HBO Max, whatever. So it's the Demilitarized Zone.
Yes. It's one of the ones I'm less familiar with for sure. I never read the original series. I just never hit my attention. But the storyline is based on the Second Civil War with the Free States of America versus the United States military, essentially. And in between them is Manhattan Island,
which is the
DMZ, which means no one can cross in. It is a free state of its own accord. And the comic book series focuses on a reporter who's kind of exploring the DMZ and learning about what's actually happening there and everything like that. The show took a slightly different approach, and they took inspiration from one of the characters who's a nurse. And they built a story around her having lost her son in the DMZ.
Right, and that character is played by Rosario Dawson.
Yes, and she does a fantastic job, honestly.
So I have not finished the series. I have watched one episode. And so far it's pretty intense. Benjamin Bratt is running for governor of the DMZ. And he's at this big political rally, and he's trying to get all of the gang lords from around the DMZ to each back him. Right? And so you see and hear all of these different ethnicities and just groupings and just the way that they all present themselves. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, and it's basically it's a turf war. It's a gang war, and the 2-4s are basically the black gang. Then you have the people from Chinatown, which is most of the Asian community, and then you have the what are they called? Wow,
I can't remember all the gang titles.
the barrio, where all where the Puerto Ricans and Latino gang members live and stuff like that, and they're all fighting for control over the island, essentially.
Mm-hmm. And then you have Benjamin Bratt's character, and I can't remember the character's name, but he's basically like, if everybody will just listen to me, then we'll become our own independent nation. And these two fighting armies, these two countries on either side of us can fuck right off.
Yeah, and he's the one that's running essentially the barrio.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's interesting. Like, it's a really cool story premise, and they did a good job of exploring it. I'm not sure because, like I said, I never read the original materials, so I don't know. Besides who the main character is and the main plot device of this family relationship, I don't know what the difference is. I don't know if different characters are presented differently because we don't have the point of view from the comics. The point of view of comics is a wholly different person.
Right. From what I've read about the comic books, and I haven't read the comic books, I've just read a couple of articles about the DMZ show, is that he's trying to be an impartial bystander.
Yes.
The reporter. So it's him reporting on or recording all of the things that he sees and experiences. Whereas the character of Alma, which does not sound like a name that fits Rosario Dawson.
Yeah.
Because when I hear Alma, I think of the little deaf piano player from Sister Act.
When I hear Alma, I think of a tiny ass town in the middle of Nebraska.
Well, see,
it's also a tiny ass town just north of Fairplay.
Oh, yeah, true. But yeah, and like you said, it's a completely different story, but it is a good story.
Yeah,
I would recommend watching.
Like I said, I only made it through the one episode, but I did enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's definitely really interesting.
And I wonder, like, because it's only 4 episodes, I wonder what crossed over, what information crossed over, what information got cut out, what is what happened.
Yeah,
because you get a short, succinct story across 4 episodes.
I mean, that's kind of the cool thing about using lesser known source material, even if it is from a semi-major publishing entity, is that you probably got some more license to play with the story to make it fit whatever it is you're trying to tell, and using that just kind of as a 30,000 foot view. We've got this premise that this comic story gave us, but now we can change it to fit whatever or however we want to tell the story, maybe improve in our mind. If I'm the person running the show, in my mind, I'm going to improve the story. And we're also not going to have a giant backlash. There's not going to be people rioting in the streets because they destroyed a beloved series of 8 books that millions of people have read. Right. So,
yeah, I haven't seen much backlash. So.
No, not at all. And I get really like less dingy Escape from New York vibes. I'm a huge fan of the original movie with Snake Plissken. It's got that not quite post-apocalyptic, but it's definitely got kind of that vibe, like they're headed that direction.
Yeah,
so it looks really cool. I'm looking forward to enjoying all of it.
Yeah, it's a cleaned up version of that. Like it's definitely a little bit more vibrant than that series.
Coming on the show too. Come on, say hi. Come in.
And it's kind of a cool story it's kind of a cool story that we kind of sit there and like, you know what, they could really, if they wanted to, because they took a side character essentially and built a story around that side character, and then kind of retconned a little bit of what was going on in her story.
Yeah, they could do that with so many other characters.
Exactly. You could tell different parts of this story or extend to this story or tell, what happened before or anything. Like, they left it open to where if they wanted to play with this license a little bit, they could still do all kinds of stuff with it.
Now, what I don't know is this just supposed to be a mini series, or is this actually supposed to become like a TV show?
Well, and I don't want to give anything away. It is still relatively new. It came out on 2 weeks ago, I think. So I don't know, how many people have actually watched the full 4 episodes. So I don't want to give anything away, but there's room to do stuff around it. There is room to do stuff around it. And you don't have to, mess anything up, I guess is a good way to put it. Based on my understanding, though, it is just it's kind of like when they did the Watchmen series a couple years ago, where it was just one story and then out, based on my understanding.
Well, I guess it'll also depend on what kind of ratings and response it gets.
Well, if it's anything like Watchmen, it got a huge positive response, and the director said, "I'm not doing it again. I told the story I wanted to tell."
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
So,
I wonder if this means people are going to try to find the graphic novel, the comic books that tell this story.
Probably.
Because what we saw with The Boys, if we want to jump over to The Boys season 3, is after the first season came out, everybody wanted to get their hands on those comic books.
Any version of them. Yeah. It was almost impossible.
I mean, like original prints are, the pricing of them just astronomical.
And not even just original prints. The original trades are out of this world price also. So it's, I haven't seen a whole lot of fluctuation on DMZ, and that's part of why I don't want to talk about specifics.
That's
because
fair.
I don't think it's hit the public as much yet. I think it's still waiting on the audience to catch up to it.
Fair enough. All right, so I did have something pulled up here. Where did you go? About The Boys season 3.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. The official trailer dropped earlier this month, but if you're listening to this other than live, then I mean earlier in March, because we haven't recorded in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was like
illness and somewhat of dead.
It was like the 15th or the 16th, something like that. They did a Red Band trailer, which was bananas.
I mean, is there any kind of trailer that you can do for that?
Butcher
it's
going
like it just gets more and more.
Yeah.
With every sneak peek we get, with every season we get.
Yeah. Butcher going soup is going to be wild, I think. And then they're introducing Soldier Boy, but apparently they're playing with his backstory a little bit.
Right.
So it's not going to be a direct pull from the comic books. But I guess that kind of makes sense because you want to try and fit it into your current narrative. So.
Plus there's a little bit of fan service there for Jensen Ackles.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
Right.
I would not be surprised if he has some sort of like comment about pie or, something else Dean-esque.
You're going to be making jokes from Supernatural?
Yeah. I mean, if you look at
she is so loud.
Yeah, dog is not quiet, but she's not barking, so I'm just gonna keep sitting over here and make it look like my arm is coming off so I can throw things. And I completely lost my train of thought.
Jensen Ackles.
Yes. Okay. If you look at other actors who have a big nerd following, like da, 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 Malcolm Reynolds, Castle, motherfucker.
Come
It
on.
was in
You
my
can
head.
do it. You can do it.
Okay. Anyways,
Nathan.
Nathan Fillion. Thank
There
you.
you go.
There you go.
So when he did Castle, the number of Firefly and Serenity references he made in that show. I mean, even at one point where he dresses up as Captain Mal for the Halloween episode,
Mm.
and his daughter's all like, "Dad, there are no cows in space." So yeah, we'll see what kind of fan service we get, but I am expecting at least a little.
Well, what did anybody else was there? Was everyone else thinking about it?
I can't wait. This is one of my favorite shows. This I love the premise.
The boys.
You know, because of when it went into the national consciousness on Amazon, it turned the Avengers narrative on its head, and I love stuff like that. I can't wait. It's just visceral. It's gory. It's gritty. It makes you uncomfortable. It makes you super uncomfortable at times. And then you get heads that explode in amongst all the other stuff. I mean, there's
You get whales that explode.
the exploding whales. Yeah,
That was-
I love
get
the Pinocchio line. Like that gold.
Right.
I mean, even how the story
such a-
opens, that they evaporated Huey's girlfriend.
Right. As he was holding, and he's just holding onto her hands.
You know, or
like,
when
"Oh,
they showed
sorry,
the explosive
sorry."
up the invisible guys took us.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome.
C4 up
Yep.
there.
You're not going to do it. Punk.
I think one of the things that I love the most about The Boys is not even the show as a whole, but that it helps you find your people. Because if somebody else finds those scenes hilarious, then you know you're hanging out with the right people. And if somebody else, if that other person is offended, you don't want to be their friend anyway.
Right. There are so many moments in both seasons where you just sit there and you go, "Oh God, oh God," and laugh because it's so absurd. Even though it could be an emotionally intense moment, which is like, "Oh my God, what just happened?" And it's entertaining, and I just love the shit out of it. I hope they carry on and continue with the same voice and don't slip, as shows like this sometimes tend to do. But I'm looking forward to season 3 for sure.
Well, the cast is staying pretty consistent with a few additions and subtractions here and there, but most importantly, the actual show's backbone, the writers, directors, producers, all of that, that's also staying fairly consistent, which has a lot to do with a show maintaining.
Didn't help Game of Thrones.
It did not. Let's hope, since you've already brought up Game of Thrones, that it helps. What is it? The dragon's first whatever, some shit.
House of the
House
Dragon.
of the Dragon?
Yeah, sure, that.
Yes.
House of the Dragon. I don't
This-
know. It's really the final season of Game of Thrones was so.
Odd. And
I was gonna say
disheartening.
like eating raw chicken.
Oh God, it wasn't that bad. I didn't get sick. It's just that they set the bar so high with the way they told the story, especially in season 1, and even into season like 4. The way they finished down here, and a lot of it had to do with what they didn't have a lot of source material. There was so much in the original 5 books that they had to leave so much out that provided so much depth and rounded out the world. Like it's been out for years. It's Lady Stoneheart's not in it, right? And that's not a spoiler. That don't at me, people, if you haven't seen it yet. That Lady Stoneheart's not in it, and she's critical. I think even more so if we ever get book 6, when I'm not holding my breath. But she's going to be, it is critical to part of the story, especially in the latter half of book in book 5. And it's just, there's so much there that they had to leave out because you can't tell the story in 12 or 14 or 16 episodes without actually splitting it up into several different seasons, let alone 2, like they had to do with book 3?
Well, isn't it books 2 and 3, or is it 3 and 4 that actually happen at the same time?
Yeah, there's a lot of time jumping. There is definitely a progression, and they do happen relatively. There's an overlap that kind of like it starts and then it moves forward, and then you get the other book here, and then it finishes on its own timeline. But you have to pay attention to like seasons and stuff that happens and the little hints that George drops in there. That was what it was.
Well, also doesn't help that they casually fucked up Daenerys's arc.
Yeah, it wasn't casual. She had this amazing arc, and then they were like, she's too cool. Did it!
Well, and there
arc.
is no finish in the printed material to where Daenerys is going. In the book, she's on a walkabout. And Barristan Selmy is still alive. I'm still mad about that one. Okay. There's no reason in hell we needed to kill Barristan Selmy. Absolutely the fuck not, people. Why? He's the coolest of all the knights.
Right there.
Yeah, it pissed me off. It was stupid. He was also a cool actor. Whatever. Barristan Selmy actually has I would not be surprised if we see a very young Barristan Selmy at some point in the telling of the season that's coming up, or the series that's coming up, because he actually has a part to play in the story of the Targaryens.
So we'll wait and see what happens with this. So
August, right?
Yeah, August 21st.
Yeah, August 21st.
We get Matt Smith as a Targaryen, and this is the story of the Dance of Dragons. It's not the Blackfire Rebellion, so it's all about true Targaryens fighting each other, not the offshoot bastards who try to start their own house with the same sigil, but the colors flipped, because nobody likes those jerks anyways.
Yeah, because those guys are just assholes.
Yeah, screw the Blackfires and Bittersteel. I know.
I don't know. I read the first 3 books, and that's kind of where I stopped.
Right. The cool thing about this is there's not a lot of.
I had for free
nice.
at the apartment complex that I was living in. There was a big community library, so you could keep any books you wanted as long as you put the same number of books back on the shelf.
Really?
So that's how I ended up with the Game of Thrones books. You know, and at that apartment, I had this great soaking tub, like this cast iron. And so I read a lot of Game of Thrones with a glass of wine and a bubble bath.
The cool thing about this is there's not a lot of source material for them to pull from. They've got the overall story completely told from start to finish. They're going to have to fill in a lot of gaps. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they actually stretch this out into 1, 2, or multiple seasons, because there's not much.
I didn't start watching Game of Thrones until season 3. And then I binged seasons 1, 2, and 3 right before season 4 started.
You started at 3?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I didn't start watching.
The way to start 3 with a bang. Jeez.
I didn't start on season 3. That's when I started watching.
Oh, okay. So when season 3 was out, you started on then. Okay, yes. Got it. Okay. I was like, holy crap.
Because otherwise, it doesn't make sense. That is definitely one of the shows that you have to watch the progression.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there are some things that you can just kind of pick up wherever. I'd say most of the sci-fi fantasy, if you're dealing with like anything Joss Whedon, or really even original series Star Trek or next gen Star Trek, you can totally watch those piecemeal. Now, you're not going to always understand all of the little nuances that are happening, but
Would you
you
stop?
probably taste like bacon, love.
Onions, probably, or I don't know what it tastes like. Probably.
You
really
smell like food.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he tastes like sandwiches, and so
Yeah.
Dog is licking him.
Yeah,
like
sandwich. Dad, you're a sandwich.
She has had dinner.
I figured
She's a
she's
dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways.
So that's Game of Thrones. Let's go ahead. Sticking in the TV realm, I just said Star Trek, so let's talk about Picard
Yes!
season 2.
Yes.
Hard.
So good.
Jake, have you seen any of it yet?
I have not had the chance yet.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah. It's a little heavy on the fan service.
What is it that you said in the family chat about the first episode with the nerdgasm?
Yeah, it's actually is it the first episode or the second episode where, and I'm not gonna, this doesn't spoil anything, but someone drops.
It's the second.
Yeah, it's the second episode, and someone drops in consecutive sentences, Martok, Sarek, and
Gul Dukat.
and Gul Dukat. Yeah,
Yeah.
drops
And Cisco.
those three names. Oh yeah,
Four
Cisco.
names.
It happens too, right? But someone drops all three of those three names specifically are dropped in 3 consecutive sentences.
And Sarek.
He said that.
I said
Did you
Sarek.
say Sarek?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
because they're in the thing with the things, right? And he points
Yeah,
them
the
out.
thing
But
in the-
yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
And then
So
like
it-
2 sentences later is when he
Then,
talks
yeah.
about Cisco.
Yeah, and I started
And you're
freaking
kind of
out.
going,
Yeah, I started freaking out. I'm like, where is he? Where is he? Wait, hold on. Wait,
I was
no.
so hoping.
Then
he
I'm
was
thinking,
gonna
wait,
be
it's a
there.
different timeline. It could be. Wait, hold on. Are we going to get? And then I was,
It didn't
Anyway.
happen. Yeah.
yeah, it didn't happen.
I love some of the things that are being said. Like one of the insults, you have the face of a Ferengi. And then because you're in a different timeline, it's what's a Ferengi?
Right.
And I'm like, I'm going to use that.
hmm Yeah, and, they intentionally threw in the bit in the bus with the same dude on the bus.
Yeah, punk on the bus.
Yeah. And
That
I
was
like,
pretty cool.
It was cool, but I'm like, it's all right. This is getting a little bit over the top. Granted,
But it was
again,
the same
different
actor.
timeline.
I mean,
He was
come
the
on.
same dude. They dressed his hair up, so he looked pretty much the same.
I know.
He was-
Looked the same. It was the same
I love
actor.
the
He's
fact
playing
that
the same
his
damn
reaction
song.
Yeah, I love the fact that his reaction was, I just
I just really like this song, and he like rubs his neck.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
It was pretty cool.
It was cool, but I'm like, all right, now we're just getting a little bit over, right?
No.
No.
Are we going to
No.
start saving the whales? I get it. It's time travel. It's the 20th century. They're on a bus. All this stuff that can happen, right? So
It's not over the top because we still haven't seen, and it's not happening in this season because we know that. We still haven't seen Michael Dorn. We still haven't seen my guy, O'Brien,
Cole Meany.
Cole Meany.
That name I can remember. Nathan
just-
Fillion eludes me.
They just forgot Cole Meany again because that's just his existence.
well, yeah. All he does is stand in
long
the
was he
transporter
guest
room
star?
and
Oh, he was a guest star in the same episodes that his wife was a main star in.
yeah, and he had more lines.
For like 4 seasons.
That's why we love Cole Meany.
Yeah. Keiko would have one line and Miles.
She was listed with the regular cast.
I
And Cole
know.
Meany was the second,
Yeah.
third special
Yeah.
guest.
Featuring Cole Meany. Like bullshit. He's in the transporter lounge, beaming his own farts out of the bridge because he's bored.
But the amount of fan service cannot stop. It's the same thing with all the Star Trek stuff or the Star Wars stuff where they're dropping Easter egg after Easter egg after Easter egg. It's one of the reasons why I have to watch it before I get sleepy because like I am just looking for all these little nuggets just because I'm just like
Right.
like a little kid every time something happens, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of actual like storyline Easter eggs in it too that I'm starting to pick up on. The butterflies, they have mentioned it a few times, and there have been images of butterflies. So I'm wondering what that's going to lead to. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with that.
Well,
And Borg Queen is just an awesome character.
she is a badass.
So good.
If I could figure out how to cosplay her, considering that she's only a portion of her, like I'd have to like, you know, do like a weird skirt.
It's the man on the horse costume.
Yeah.
Where you're in the horse, so you'd have to be like in the wheel and then like have her flopping out in front of you. I don't know. It has to be that kind of mechanic. If they couldn't, and I don't know if they tried, but if they couldn't get Alice Krige, and that the name of the actress who is playing the Borg Queen right now escapes me, is out Kriegeing Alice Krige.
Borg Queen.
She is spectacular.
I can't remember her name.
Hold on, I actually have the cast pulled up.
She's so good.
Elmore.
Wow, how is she not already in the list? Because she's like one of the main characters.
Right?
I don't know.
Like the depth of her unhingedness.
Yeah.
That you can start to see nipping at the edges every time she actually thinks she's winning an encounter and then doesn't. You can just see
Annie Wershing.
Borg sanity. It's so good. So good. Where Alice Krige was in control until the very end, this bitch has got no control over anything, and
her interaction with Girardi has just been.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The tug and pull between her and Agnes has been absolutely fucking phenomenal. They're just playing mind games with each other, and it's been so good.
Did anybody else just shoot a giant fist and a bird in the air?
Like a dumb bimbo scientist, you actually get to see like she's actually really conniving. And you didn't get to see that in the first season.
Yeah, she's got these moments where I think that Picard's spine, I think, is rubbing off on her a little bit. But did anybody else, like when she turned and turned her back to the Queen and walked away when she got what she wanted, did anyone else just like, God, and then flip off the screen like, screw you, Borg Queen, screw you.
The Borg Queen actually says, like, you're really smart and conniving, and then she's like, you're just like me, and then she does it to her, and you're like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Good shit.
Okay, let's go over to Halo. Speaking of fucking
fan service, holy shit!
Oh my god!
Holy sweet Jesus!
That whole the whole
That's
scene
before the opening credits.
Before the opening credits was nothing but fan service over and over and over and over again. It was great.
In general, I enjoyed it. The thing that irritated me is the same thing that they did with Doom. If anybody remembers that with Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, of course. It's
that
a rock
weird
movie.
first-person video game from inside
part of that movie.
No, it throws me out of it. I don't want to see inside the helmet. If I want to see inside the helmet, I'll go play Halo.
It's the best part of that movie, though. That movie is terrible until you get to Doom, and he like is running through and you're playing Doom for 5 minutes on an IMAX screen. That's pretty bad
movie.
Yeah, it's the best part of that movie. The whole movie sucks.
Yeah, and they took the best part of a terrible movie and put it in Halo for some reason.
You weren't going to be able to do Halo without having at least something first person.
I hope that's the only time they do it. I don't.
I do too. I do too. I don't think, and I don't get the feeling that it's going to be more of that.
Because as soon as they snap to that, I'm like, oh, this stupid trick. I'm like, come on, guys.
I thought the same thing.
You had to get at least some
like,
of the
where's Carl Urban?
The ducking and waiting for the shields to regenerate. And,
I didn't mind that. That's
Yeah.
part of lore. That makes
Right.
sense.
And the sound effects were spot on.
The sound
The
effects
sound
were great.
effects-
God. Oh my God. I had so
Literally
much
ripped-
anxiety the first time he popped his shield. Went, oh no, oh God, I gotta hide. Oh wait, that's not me. I'm not actually playing this. And I haven't played Halo in like 15 years.
Ripped it directly from the game, which is
The
kind
Yeah.
of
only thing that first cut scene was missing was somebody getting fucking stuck with a plasma grenade.
That's what I was saying. I
Right.
didn't see anybody get stickied. I was waiting
Right.
for that.
Didn't
actually.
see a sticky, and I didn't see a 360 no scope.
When he threw out that grenade, I legitimately I thought that was going to be the sticky moment.
Yep.
Like catch him in the back and just keep moving.
Yeah, that's
Well,
coming.
and I thought for sure that when the elite grabbed the dad and picked him up, and
Oh yeah.
went with the plasma sword, I thought for sure he'd hit him with the sticky and then throw his body and then he'd explode. Because we saw a lot of body parts in that first bit.
Yeah.
Surprising for Halo. That surprised me a little bit that they went that graphic.
It was
Yeah,
PG-13. It wasn't
covered in
like
her friend's blood.
yeah.
like
There was splatter, but it wasn't visceral. It was
A couple
violent
of them were.
without being super gory. I kind
it
of
was
felt
pretty
it was
gory.
more.
They
I
melted
felt-
that dude's head with a plasma pistol.
Yeah, there was like bits, like the dude
Yeah.
blows up, and then you see like bits of his legs and stuff falling all over the place.
No, the best one was the plasma pistol when the Spartan picked it up and shot him in the head and his head just melts.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, aliens dying gorily isn't nearly as bad as humans dying gorily, right?
There's a lot of
It's-
humans dying.
There were a lot of yeah.
lot. And so Mark and I are watching this, and then the opening credits start, and I'm like, sweet fuck, that was all just the opening.
That was the
cutscene.
cold open, yeah. The cold open
Right.
was that ridiculous.
Right.
And like, I didn't understand because I never played Halo.
Yeah,
I
I
am
was
so not a console gamer.
every time that something happened, I was like, fan service, fan service.
Well, the fact that they go to reach, you know,
Right.
the fact that they go to reach, where in the game, reach is gone. Everybody,
Reach is
Reach
gone,
is gone.
Yeah. Reach ain't there no more.
I don't know.
That part I
The
do
most I know about Halo is from the cosplayers who I've interviewed, and my favorite is Halo Kitty. Have you seen that cosplay? Where it's
No, but I could
Master
just
Chief.
imagine.
It's Master Chief, but it's all like
Hello
pink,
Kitty.
and like
yeah.
there's the bow. It's Halo. Kitty.
That's such a big thing that's actually in the new game. That's in Infinity. There is a cat ears helmet.
I was a little sad, and we haven't seen it yet, but I was looking through the cast list, and we haven't seen Mercy yet, or at least I don't remember seeing it. I might have missed it for a minute, but I was a little sad that we couldn't get
I swear
Michael
they said
Wincott.
Mercy.
Huh?
I swear they said Mercy.
They said it, but you don't see him.
Oh
And
no.
I'm a little sad
You-
that you just can't recast Michael Wincott to do the voice of Mercy.
You kind of do when they're doing
So
that.
good at Mercy.
It could have
When
been
they're
when you
doing
were
that
out
one
of the
shot,
room,
You kind of see
and
it.
I just had no idea what was happening. It's possible.
Oh, it was basically fan service through and through while introducing a storyline that we don't really know about of what happens prior to the invasion,
Right.
at least to this extent. And if you like Halo, you'll probably enjoy it actually.
I thought it was pretty good.
I mean, I don't know Halo, and even with all of the explosions and the shit that's going on, I'm confused as fuck, but I'm enjoying it.
I was waiting for Captain Keyes to pull out a giant stogie,
Yeah, same here.
but I thought the casting of Captain Keyes, although his voice is a little different, he doesn't have that drill sergeant cadence. I thought that he did a really good job playing that.
That's what I thought too. I figured they were
Nice
going to go
take.
a lot more with the drill sergeant patter with his voice and that staccato type of talking. And they really didn't. They made him a lot more human.
Human, yeah. Which I kind of liked. I kind of liked it.
You
What I
like
was
when
missing.
things are human.
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 Well, I like how they
Human.
kind of say that he broke his AI, essentially. And that's and they kind of give an partial explanation for how that happened, why he's not just this mindless hunter.
Right.
Yeah, and
So-
there's a lot more than just blowing up Covenant and Flood and that kind of thing. There's actually a storyline that they're gonna introduce, which I kind of like.
Yeah, I'm assuming we're gonna get the full Covenant War from.
Yeah, and I mean, if they're gonna do that, then we're gonna get Flood, which they kind of a little bit, and we haven't even seen. They've talked about Cortana, but it's coming.
Oh, yeah.
She's in a crate.
She's such a huge part of the story that they're gonna have to. That she's gonna be in at some point. I don't think we're gonna get Flood. If they're already preparing Halo Season 2, that's when we might get some kind of Flood, I think, thing occurring.
And they are already preparing season 2, which Mark and I were talking about this. Like, it's ridiculous that season 2 has been announced.
Yeah, considering
And there's
one
only
episode.
one episode currently available.
Visually very stunning. Visually, the whole thing is very stunning.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
good. Yeah, it's very well put together.
graphically.
Very well put together. It's a good show. It's fun to watch. As someone with a more limited knowledge of the lore of Halo, and like I said, I've only played it like 15 years ago, so it's been a long time. It just kind of barely kept pulse on it, just as you see stuff in media and whatever. Really easy to follow along. I can get where Bobby's coming from. I don't understand, but I like it. But it's also like, you don't have to understand that, these fucking aliens are here and they're shooting people. So let's just drop some other dudes on them and shoot them instead.
The story that they're telling, I think, is for the people that don't know it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's why we're getting the full Covenant War, I think, during Season 1 is going to be them versus the Covenant and what's going to happen to Earth and all that kind of stuff.
And Reach probably Splody.
Yeah.
Splody Reach.
I'm looking forward to watching it and seeing what's up.
But I'm very much missing Michael Wincott. I just love Michael Wincott. So
I mean, what's not to love?
Yeah.
And I loved my favorite part was legitimately the energy sword through the door.
Oh, that was so good.
Right.
Oh, like that was beautiful. That's how you introduce the power of that weapon is like, you just killed that dude through the door.
Not everything is about you.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Friend dog.
if you like Halo, you'll like it. If you're just a sci-fi fan, I think you're gonna get into this story pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like where they're headed.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's see. We have so many other things to talk about as well. PlayStation Plus is launching in June. 700, more than 700 games.
Yeah, PlayStation Plus is their current thing. That's what they have for their online membership thing. You get free games, you get, multiplayer access, all that kind of stuff. And in June they are adding, was it two new tiers plus a separate one that can kind of work separately if you don't have like internet issues. And it's basically built the same way that the Xbox Game Pass is. It's $60 a year for their basic service, which is what it currently is, and then jumps up to $100 and you get access to their PS4 and PS5 library, almost all of it, plus third-party stuff. And then if you do the big one, which is the premium, you get access to PlayStation's entire catalog, basically, at some point through cloud streaming, which that's going to make a lot of people happy, especially getting like the PlayStation, PS2, PS3, all those games that you can't really get anymore, and can't really get at all in a digital sense.
Well, and
You're gonna be
correct me
getting
if
them.
I'm wrong, but aren't most PlayStations not back compatible?
They're usually compatible one generation back is how they usually do it. And so the fact that they're opening it to, you can get everything from the original PlayStation all the way to PS5 when you're on their premium plan, is probably going to make a lot of people happy. And it includes access to like all their big titles. Like you're going to get God of War, Spider-Man, all of that stuff. So
I guess the important question here is, Tank, do mom and dad need to change your annual Christmas gift card?
no, because I still need the Xbox Game Pass one. This one will be coming out of my pocket, I think.
He has gotten the Game Pass gift card from mom and dad for what, like the past 4 years, 5 years? Maybe
Closing
longer?
in on 10. I think since me and Steph got married. Actually, at this point.
Huh. Well, see, there you go. They like him.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing I said.
Yeah, I don't pay for my own services for Xbox, which makes me happy.
Nice.
So, and and it's really cool if you like PlayStation games. I mean, it seems like it's going to be a good offer. It's going to be better than what Nintendo did with their bullshit N64 stuff. So,
All right, so we'll see. Yeah. I'm sure that our brother-in-law, Ian, will definitely need to have this whole thing as well.
I'm assuming
for him
so. Yeah.
and for his oldest, because Natalie is also quite the console gamer. All right. Well, since we're talking about Natalie, let's go ahead. Brilliant Stars Part 22, for the love of God.
Yeah.
Card Pokemon. Full arts are continuing to come out.
That's got to be... The full series is out, so that's got to be an article dealing with the Brilliant Stars is one of their biggest sets.
Let's see.
It's huge.
So Under the Sword and Shield.
This is just the thing that you're talking about is a review, essentially, of the cards.
Right. So
okay. It's fucking crazy.
There's what they've done in this one is not only do they have full arts for trainer cards, they have full arts, the VMAX. They've released the V Star.
Yeah, V Star series,
which is great. And then they've added a lot of these, what they call character rares, which are full arts as well.
That's
and
the big one.
Character rares are a card for a specific Pokemon that includes someone in the background that is their, that is their main Pokemon, like an actual character from either the anime or
the trainer series. Yeah.
So you have like
the one trainer card that has Mimikyu.
Yeah, Mimikyu, and you have, I can't remember what her name is in the background. But you've got like Charizard and Lance is in the background. You just have all those character cards. The dude with the ice cream in the parlor, and I can't remember his name, but he's sitting there. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about, though. I see you shaking your head, but you know what I'm talking about.
Well, I know what you're talking about because it's stupid fucking ice cream Pokemon.
The one that's like the vanilla ice cream cones.
Oh no, there's a full ice cream sundae Pokemon.
Oh yeah, there's a full series of them.
Yeah.
There's also a giant strawberry shortcake.
It grows up into a full ice cream sundae.
Yeah. It's absurd.
But there's, they have all the character art. So it's a huge, it's like, I think their second or third biggest set. And
something like that.
They've got this one and then one more coming out for the shoot, I lost it.
The Darkrai one.
Yeah. Before they go into, they shift everything and start pivoting the whole Pokemon multiverse thing into
Violet.
Violet and Scarlet, which will happen later this year.
We'll have to make sure we get some of the Scarlet for Scarlet.
Isn't it like Brilliant Radiance or something like that?
The last one?
Astral Radiance.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I was just upset when I heard that the Ultimate Climax was only happening in Japan.
Yeah, shout out to Toaster. Brilliant
What's up
Stars
with
is brilliant.
Selling pretty well. It's staying pretty good at that 125 mark for booster boxes. So
That's not bad.
yeah,
It's not a terrible price. 36
staying up.
packs, 125.
Yeah, staying cost efficient. People still love it. People are still buying the hell out of it. Astral Radiance comes out in like a month, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
missed all my pre-sales on that one, which is probably good.
Probably.
It's 2 months. It's the May. The end of May is when it comes out.
All right. So let's go ahead and change topics entirely. And let's go. Miss Marvel, the official trailer came out earlier in March. And this is going to be a show on Disney Plus. Thoughts?
It looks kind of cool. I mean, they're doing definitely more of a. I mean, it smartly. They're doing it based around the teenage life of Kamala Khan, who is they're going to be who is the current Miss Marvel. So, because Captain Marvel does her own thing and takes off, and they've definitely changed a couple things. Her power is basically that she can morph her body into shapes, kind of Mr. Fantastic style, and she can, throw her arm and make it long and throw out a big giant fist, basically, stuff like that. And they're changing up a little bit of the story. It looks like where they're going to give her a little bit more cosmic power, and it's going to be tied to the Kree, like the Captain Marvel storyline. It looks like, which makes sense because they're coming out with the Marvels movie and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they're putting her with her powers that that she this kind of shape shifting ability plus cosmic power. So they seem to be revving it up for to get that teenage audience at least.
And it looks like the timing is going to be enough, or it's going to be done so that when we get the next movie, more people are familiar with the story. And
Yeah, they're setting it up so that when you get into the Marvels movie, you'll understand who Kamala is, because we already have the other two big players in that with Monica and Captain Marvel. So
yeah, so we'll just wait and see. Other things coming to Disney Plus. Let's see. We have She-Hulk.
yeah,
Yeah.
interesting.
I do not understand what exactly is the happening with the Disney and the She-Hulk.
Well, you know what? To be honest, I'm not entirely sure either. I watched that trailer and it seems to be built on the comic book storyline, which if you're familiar with She-Hulk, she is Bruce Banner's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets mortally wounded, and the only way he can save her is by doing a blood transfusion using his blood, which is infected with the gamma Hulk poison, and she becomes the She-Hulk. But unlike the Hulk, when she goes into Hulk form, she never loses any of her intelligence. And she actually spends a lot of her life in Hulk form just being herself. And they seem to be leaning in that direction, is what it looks like, where she's just going to have the ability to Hulk out, and we're going to find out why. They kind of cut to a scene with some kind of testing in a lab with her and Bruce, and then they show her in Hulk form, which, I mean, cool. I mean, part of me wishes they would have chosen a slightly bigger actress because
Oh,
she's kind of
no.
a small girl.
No, I
Yeah,
love Tatiana.
she's a very petite Hulk.
No, nothing wrong with the actress.
Right.
No, she's brilliant. I'm just She-Hulk she's a big girl. You know,
Mhm.
even in her normal form, she's not small by any means. I'm assuming they're gonna do what they did with the Hulk in the movies, and they're just gonna CGI the shit out of it and make her 7 feet tall.
Right.
I'm just going to go back to what I have always said. Well, for the last 3 years, have said about She-Hulk. She-Hulk has nothing against Princess Hulk, which is the character Tank's oldest created, because she didn't want to be She-Hulk because She-Hulk doesn't go Hulk smash, and Princess Hulk does.
They're gonna make her do the Hulk smash. They already said it in the stupid trailer. You don't want to make me angry line.
Princess
Oh,
Hulk
that's so good, though. Come on.
wears a tutu and goes around saying Hulk smash
But no, it's
and
good.
wears a tiara.
I think it's intentionally confusing at this point. They don't
Okay.
want to give away too much. They give you glimpses of the story. They give you glimpses of the idea. If it's anything like the comic book story, it's a good story. She's a really cool character.
Well, she is.
And that's kind of what they do with some of these, lesser known but well established characters. Is when they do these series, is they'll give you snippets of what's coming, but leave you intentionally kind of unawares as to what actually is going to happen. And it's fun. I like that they do it that way. I'd rather kind of be guessing as to what's coming and have a curveball thrown at me than to know, oh, it's this storyline, so we know this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. Great, I read that. We're
MCU,
telling. Go ahead.
MCU does a really good job on the small screen.
So far, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like so far. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do with both of these, with Miss Marvel and with She-Hulk.
I can't breathe.
Dog. Get her a bone or something.
And I will say this:
Misses her dad.
when this trailer dropped, and since She-Hulk was already kind of an expensive book, the origin, the first She-Hulk, has been kind of a staple key book for a long time, and it went up a lot again.
Skyrocketed.
Yeah. As soon as this trailer dropped, it jumped another several $100s.
It's one of those characters that they're telling a side story for that they could then bring her in for,
The new Avengers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, she's going to be there for some kind of new Avengers thing. She's going to be a part of that, I'm assuming. Because they're going to slowly, I think at this point, they're starting to, pull back Ruffalo's involvement after this, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So,
he's even said as much.
Yeah. And, it's good. It's a good story. She's a really awesome character, and people love her character, some for creepier reasons than others.
Because there are sickos out there.
Some people just like to be stepped on by Amazon women, and that's how it goes.
Don't judge me.
I've seen that
That's
side
how
of
I make
TikTok.
my money.
We're talking about an OnlyFans about that.
And this should be, it should be a good story though. So I'm excited for it. I'm super excited. This is one of the ones that it's been a long time waiting, and it's just, there's no ownership of the Hulk property by Marvel. This is the one gambit that they have. She-Hulk was not part of the purchase with Universal, so they can do whatever they want with her, and that's why we're getting it.
Well, plus the MCU, those characters have really kind of run their stories. Like, we don't need more of the stories that have already been told.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of just going, okay, we're done, they're saying, okay, there's this whole plethora of Marvel characters that you
Thousands.
guys don't know yet, or that the general, the cinematic, universe doesn't know yet.
Yeah, the general public would not have much information about She-Hulk. So
Yeah.
this is a good story for them to use.
So I like that they're bringing in these characters who are beloved to the nerd populace
Mhm.
and introducing them to the world.
He found Snake.
We hear the squeaks.
And we're not talking about it today because it just came out this morning, but we will have our discussion about Moon Knight next week.
Moon Knight!
episode 1.
Moon Knight, finally!
I will tell you this, watch it. It
Yeah.
is wild and
It's so
awesome.
good. Yeah,
I
check
waited.
it out for
He
sure.
was at work.
I cannot wait
We're
for
not
Moon
judging.
Knight.
We're just saying
No.
to those of you
Yeah.
out there in Nerdland,
Oh yeah,
make
I
sure you
understand.
watch it.
I'm a stay-at-home dad that runs my own business. My free time gets opened at weird places. I was able to watch it today. So
We finally got our final numbers from my particular store's location, and we're going to donate close to $7,000 to the Special Olympics just with my location alone.
Hell yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, almost 6,800, which is 1,000 more than we donated last year for the same day.
Nice.
So,
That's fantastic.
new daily record. So
Well done.
I feel all of it.
Yeah, long day. I'm assuming.
Yep. In a
So,
past
yeah.
life, living the Vets Day, when they
Yep.
gave away the free meals, that's the same thing, right? You're talking
Yep.
$18,000 and
See, I
Well,
worked at Boston Market
bourbon
during
street steaks.
Thanksgiving.
Oh my god,
oh yeah, you know,
brutal.
you
I had
know.
to do catering. I had to do catering that day to multiple places.
Yep.
I think my least favorite shifts of all time were we had a Mother's Day race for the Cure combo downtown where the finish line was 2 blocks away from old Chicago.
Oh, so you guys were just packed.
Yeah, I walked into a line around the block at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then it was a fun day and I made a lot of money. But the St. Patrick's Day where I moonlighted at the poorhouse, it was a 17-hour day and we went through about 45 kegs. $48,000 day in that little place.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we broke records today and it's all for a good cause. So.
That's
Brilliant.
fantastic.
Well done.
All right. Well, if we're done talking about, good stuff,
Yeah.
and yay, charity. Just kidding. Let's continue on with Disney Plus and Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi. We got the trailer earlier in March. The series launches May 25th.
Yep.
Yeah, May 25th.
Which, how do you not release it on May 4th?
Right? Thank
How?
you.
Take this.
How do you not schedule it so that you're releasing episode 1 on May 4th?
Yes, sir.
Does not make sense to me.
Yeah, like, I will say though,
Unless
it
you're Mark
looked cool.
Hamill and he says, "May the force be with you" on every day, he'll be like, "March the 8th be with you," because he's fucking Mark Hamill.
Well, he's Mark Hamill. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. But like, other than that,
It looks cool. It looks like they're going to be focusing heavily on the Inquisitors, which makes sense. The Jedi hunters and trying to catch the rest of the Jedi after the Order 66 goes in. I'm assuming going to get some connection for I guess it's a decade roughly from the beginning of this show to when the original New Hope storyline starts, I guess.
Well,
Which is-
considering they have Ewan McGregor playing Kenobi,
Mhm.
right? Like that's got to
I
be
think it'd
one
pretty difficult to get Alex
rough-ass
Guinness to do it
decade.
again at this point.
Well, let's also, I mean, let's talk about generations, right? I mean, how old was Alec Guinness in 1977?
Oh, yeah,
Late 50s, I believe.
How old is Ewan McGregor?
Now,
I think he just now turned 40 something, I think.
Oh, I think he's older than I am. Let's see. The point is that people are aging differently now. So
yes, this is true. I'm just saying,
today's 70-year-old does not look anything like
50 years
70-year-old
ago?
from the
No.
70s.
Yeah. Ewan McGregor is 51.
Okay, 51. Wow, I was off by a
51.
little bit.
All right, so let's.
But even then, Alec Guinness he had to have been in his 50s when that was
That's why God
shot,
invented,
right?
that's why God invented Google. 1914. 60.
So he would have been in his 60s then.
Yeah, he was in his 60s. I died in
I don't know.
Jesus, what a life.
So I guess the time frame makes sense.
Right. Yeah, because he's going to be, 10 years younger.
He's gonna be 10 years
And
younger.
again, a 60-year-old in 1977 looks a hell of a lot different. than a
Holy
60-year-old
shit,
today.
Yeah, I was gonna say-
Wow!
I was not expecting that.
What are you doing? Circus acts in the living room?
Did you guys see that?
The lazy brown fox jumped over the slippery moon, or whatever the fuck that sentence
Holy
is that I
shit.
can never remember. Whee!
If you guys weren't convinced that my daughter is a athlete,
Oh, that was brilliant.
Don't call her that.
Absolutely brilliant.
But
Okay.
yeah, like I'm assuming Ewan McGregor
That was
won't look
not a
like
lovely
Alec
thing.
Guinness did for another.
she thinks it is.
Oh, he's not good.
years.
He's not going to get there for a long time.
He'll
When
be
Alec
in
Guinness,
his 70s by then.
when Alec Guinness shot Star Wars, he was 61,
Yeah,
and they started in 75. So,
yeah.
um, this is 10 years. The numbers work, even
The
if
number
the looks
works,
necessarily don't work.
Visual representation is a little off.
Right? It's gonna.
This
I
is
mean,
what
it's
happens
going
when
to be
you
what
drink
it is.
blue milk for 10 straight years.
Is that what it is? He's
The
going to
Bantha
age
milk.
rapidly.
Yeah, the bantha milk ages you. He must be bantha intolerant.
Well, there's no
Double
water.
Sipping
I
blue
mean,
milk.
Yep.
There's
Right.
no water. Moisture farming is an
Yeah,
actual
moisture farming. Yeah, is a thing.
job
That's right.
in this world.
Right.
All right.
And everyone
so-
has a gonk droid.
All right. What else
Long
we got?
live the gonk droid.
We've gotten the first look at Stranger Things season 4.
Seen a few pictures.
And
Yeah, just a few
that
pictures.
is coming May 27th. So right after Kenobi.
This is going to be fun. Stranger Things is, if you were to take the Goonies of my generation and spooky it up and then stretch it over a bunch of seasons, that's kind of the reach that Stranger Things has. It's got that coming of age story. It's got that.
I can totally see that.
Yeah.
It's got that, the older, more grown up appeal to it, with its depth and its darkness. But at its core, what it's been is a growing up story, whether or not you have, supernatural powers or not, and you grow upside down lizards in your bedroom.
Is it a
It's
lizard or
fun.
a plant monster?
Yeah, plant monster, whatever it is. I
just
call them
gave it
lizards.
hashtag Horror Goonies.
Horror Goonies. There you go. Stranger Things is fun. Nothing about it is necessarily groundbreaking, besides maybe visually, in the way they're able to, take that budget and do what they're doing with it. And it's almost Cloverfield-ish, the way they layer in that, they'll have that little flash of light, then you'll have that giant monster just kind of lurking in the background over the top of the arcade game, right? So you're only getting you don't truly see what's happening, in a technique that really Jaws.
Yeah, that's the way I was going to say too. It's
75,
got kind of that Cthulhu monster feel to it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited. It's always fun to watch. It's always so well done. The kids are The dynamic of the kids is always entertaining, and the stories are entertaining too. So
yeah, I mean the biggest thing is they've already confirmed season 5. And that they're planning on ending everything at season 5. Like that's going to be the wrap up. But we've waited so long for season 4, that at this point, like I'm going to watch it. I'm excited about it. But also, if it hadn't popped up on my newsfeed, I probably wouldn't care.
Well, because it's been so long. What has it been?
Right.
3
Right.
years?
Well, there was that little thing that happened that threw a monkey wrench into producing anything.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm just saying.
Well, they're
I
also
started
doing
watching
the
Stranger
shitty thing.
Things. I started watching Stranger Things because Ella, who has guest hosted on this show, is a huge Stranger Things fan. And she's so mad that it's taken so long. She's like, I'm not even going to watch the final season.
Oh, that's a lie.
She'll watch it. I mean, she's 14 and she's pissy,
Right.
but she'll still watch it.
Well, they're doing the annoying thing that they've been doing recently, and that they're splitting it into 2 separate parts.
Yeah, part 2
For
doesn't
season
come out until
4.
July.
Yeah, I'm like, that's kind of stupid. I mean, it's already been 3 years, guys. Let's roll this shit out. Come on.
Yeah, I don't get why they did that. They did the same thing to Discovery, and it honestly yanked all of the momentum I had watching that show. And I forgot that Discovery stopped halfway through until I got back onto Paramount Plus to watch something else. Like, oh, there's new episodes of Discovery. Look at this. I forgot it was coming back in a month.
Yeah, and
I
they
would
just did
rather
the same
them-
thing. Sorry. Go ahead.
I would rather them release an episode a week
Yeah. Then
Mhm.
split it.
I'm okay with
Then-
that.
than split it like this.
Yeah,
And
I'm
they-
okay with weekly releases.
And they did the
nothing
same
wrong
thing with Ozark, which it saw a little bit of a drop off because people are like, well, I'm just going to wait for part 2 then. And then I'm going to watch the whole thing.
That's what I
And-
do.
You're probably going to see the same thing happen with this. You're going to see a drop off of initial viewership, and you're not going to catch it until the second part hits. Which I guess if you're okay with that, then that's fine.
Yeah, if
but
you're Netflix, and as long as you're getting eyeballs.
yeah, it's slightly annoying for the consumer, and
Yeah.
needlessly annoying. Like I could understand if it was a necessity, but it doesn't seem like it's a necessity. It just seems like they're doing it to prolong their exposure as a company with a well-known franchise,
Yeah.
Mhm.
which is weird because you're Netflix, so that seems unnecessary.
Right.
Yeah.
You probably have like 7 Ryan Reynolds movies just waiting in the wings you can drop.
They got 2 more coming out, as far as I know. So
Right.
they're probably filming like 8 more at this point. Yeah,
You know what? You're Ryan Reynolds. Let him just have his fun.
I'm not saying anything wrong. I just
I watched Free Guy, and all it makes me want to do is see him be Deadpool again.
the only part of Free Guy I caught was the end. So, but I feel like I watched the whole movie just through the end of it.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad movie, but like the whole time I'm sitting here watching this, I'm like, this would be better if it was Deadpool.
All right. So one of the things that I liked about the Adam Project is there are definitely Deadpool moments.
I have not watched that yet.
Okay, you should absolutely watch
Yeah,
it.
it was good.
It's adorable. It's incredibly predictable, but it's adorable. And there's this really cool drone fight scene where like the young Adam is like, all badass, and it's very fun. Plus Ryan Reynolds punches Mark Ruffalo in the face.
Yeah, but I want to see that in a Marvel movie with Deadpool and Hulk.
Right.
Fair enough. So the kid who they had play young Adam in the Adam Project is a huge Ryan Reynolds fan and actually has Deadpool 1 and 2 memorized.
That's funny.
So if you go on to pick your social media platform, you can actually find clips of this kid talking to Ryan Reynolds. He's like, and so he says this, this, and this, and then this particular thing happens, and then he turns the car, and then this happens, and then this and this and this, and then he's like, and fuck, and blah, and right, and this kid's like 13, 12, and it's he's just like awestruck, but at the same time, he's like, I'm going to prove to you that I am the right person to be little you. Yeah, and it's very snarky. The young Adam is very nerdy, and gets beat up a lot, and so he's looking at Ryan Reynolds. He's like, when does all of this happen? And then later he's like, oh, so I gave up my brains for the gym. I understand. So definitely worth a watch.
Okay. It's
fun
on the
family.
list. I haven't seen it yet either, but it's on the list.
Yeah. It's wonderful. And what was it? Free Guy and the Adam Project dropped within like a week of each other, I think it was.
Yeah, I think Adam Project was this last week, wasn't it?
No, it was,
Was it a week
I
before?
think at least 2 weeks ago,
Okay.
Mhm.
because that's when we watched it. Because we watched it before the migraine cancellation.
Oh, okay.
It's how I'm gauging time now. But it's currently one of the top contenders on Netflix. So if you go to like the big trending, you'll see Adam Project, Bridgerton season 2, and other shit.
Kids stuff usually.
Or maybe that's just on my Netflix because they're like, you obviously like this stuff.
Well, supposedly the trending tab is what everybody's watching. I don't
That's
believe
what
that.
they say, but I don't always feel like it's the same. Like
All
even
right.
if I
Well,
log
let's
on
test it.
to a different person's account.
Let's test it. I've got Netflix on my phone.
I can attest that.
Are you dying?
You good?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Still
I
have
can attest that
cough.
the Netflix account in here, well, that was right here, was a completely different set of things than the one that is in here.
In the
Now
top
this
10?
one is.
But this one doesn't exist anymore. I stopped paying for Netflix because why do we have 2 Netflix accounts in one house?
Yeah, that would be
Which is-
silly.
Is that the top 10 or the trending tab?
Trending tab. I'm in the trending tab.
Trending is different for everybody.
I have Is It Cake?
That's number 2. Here's my trending now. My first 5 are Bridgerton, Is It Cake, Peaky Blinders, Formula One, Blade Runner 2049.
Oh yeah,
Have
very
you
good.
seen Peaky Blinders? It is wonderful.
We only have one same thing. I have
That's
Catching
trending. That's
Killers,
funny.
Is It Cake, Worst Roommate Ever, which looks like a crime thing,
Yeah.
Space Force, and Adam Project.
See?
That's funny. So what's your top 10?
Those should be the same.
Bridgerton is number 1.
Okay, yeah, Bridgerton, Cake, Blade Runner, Inventing Anna.
Yeah.
Okay, that's funny.
So top 10 is the same. Trending is
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the trending that's different.
That's
yeah.
funny.
Trending then that would make sense because
Which is weird because I've never watched an actual racing show. I watch a lot of food shows on Netflix, but they're all meat.
Is it like an action thing, maybe?
Is It
Maybe?
Cake? Looks weird to me, and the way that they judge it, I haven't actually watched an episode.
I've got no
I
desire.
assume that it's something that Steph really likes.
Is
No.
is it cake? Is it
Scarlet.
like a scene that has cakes?
Same difference. So Is It Cake is the bakers have to try to make a cake that looks like it's not cake.
Oh,
So
Right.
like create this sneaker out of cake.
oh,
And you know what? Scarlett is just little Stephanie, so I was almost right.
Yeah, Scarlet. I've not watched the whole thing, thankfully, because I find the host to be very annoying. But I've
That
watched
was my
enough
problem
of it.
with Cupcake Wars.
I've watched enough of it to where I'm like, okay, so they're trying to trick people with cake. That's the entire premise of the show. I don't care.
Yeah. And then like the judges have to like look at 3 sneakers and say which one of these is cake.
It's not the judges, it's the participants.
Uh
It's a cast for the full thing, and then cast members get chosen to be in for that week, and then they have to prepare cakes that the other contestants judge. And if you fool the judges, then you win money. If the judges catch you, then they can win money. It's
All I know is a lot of cake that I'm not going to eat or that I can't eat because I don't have that cake in front of me, so I'm not going to watch it.
to be
But
100%
I
honest,
can't
some of it
bake
doesn't look
shit.
very
you have your
edible.
phone in your hand. You need to let Mama Toaster know that our cake case is standing empty.
I will do so.
Cake case is standing empty.
Yeah, so we have a magic cake case. It's a cake carrier, but it's magic. And whenever we give it to Mama Toaster, it comes back with cake inside.
Yeah, it used to be once a week. I shouldn't probably say this, but we would get a cake and I would eat it all, and then we would get a cake and then I'd eat it all, and then we get a cake and I'd eat it all.
I have told her we have to limit it to once a month because we're both trying to lose weight for the wedding, and I won't let Mark do the milk tea diet. 15 hours of open heart surgery and you'll lose 60 pounds.
If there is
that'll do
cake in the house, I will eat it. That's just the way it works.
That's
And
our lot in
we're
life.
talking about cake right now.
I want
Right.
cake.
I really would like to just devour a half a cake and go to bed.
Yeah.
Cake sounds really good.
I've had a couple. I've had a muscle relaxer. I've had an ibuprofen. My joints are very sore. Cake sounds wonderful. And then sleep.
Really? Are your joints sore because you got hit by a car? Or
I was-
from your day?
Maybe a combination of both.
All right. So last thing on the agenda, moving on from cake.
No.
Oh, I lied. There's 2 things left. Star Trek: Strange New Worlds has cast Captain Kirk.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
so this is going to come on to Paramount Plus. What is it? May.
Which is basically the
Yeah.
Star Trek network,
Yeah.
based on what I saw today when I was on there. They had 5 different Star Trek shows on the top of my listing. I haven't watched a single Star Trek show on my Paramount Plus. So they're really pushing Star Trek.
So the thing is, the actor's name is Paul Wesley. He's from the Vampire Diaries, and I feel like since Wesley is playing Kirk, whenever he says something I don't like, I can just look at the TV and say, "Shut up,
Shut
Wesley."
up, Wesley.
My brain went a completely different way.
Hmm.
As you wish. That was also a Wesley.
Yes, but this is Star Trek Wesley.
Well, they gave him a new bit too. We watched that with the Picard. We haven't seen it yet, but he's doing that like
The show that's called Ready Room.
Yeah, Ready Room. Yeah.
Yeah. He's done that. He's done that for every
Just see
new
what Will's
new
up to
Trek.
these days. I like that Will
He's
Wheaton.
living his best
You
nerd
like
life.
him? Have
man.
you met him?
No.
He's kind of a prick in a humorous way. Like, but he is kind of like he takes pride in being an arrogant asshole.
Sounds like us.
Not wrong.
Sounds like the Idiot Brothers.
Wow, I wonder where I've heard that before. We'll see how this guy pans out. I've never seen him in anything.
Really? You were watching Vampire Diaries?
It's like you don't know me.
I've never seen him before either. I didn't watch Vampire Diaries.
Okay, good. I trust what they've done so far. Ensign Mount as Pike was perfect. Rebecca Romaine as number one was perfect. And the name of the actor who currently plays Spock um, in this universe is also perfect. He's really good. So I'm sure they picked the right guy who's going to do a great job. I've got no qualms with it. We'll see what happens when we actually see him on the screen.
Well, the pictures that we've gotten, like, he looks the part. He even has like the little like crease,
Yeah.
you know, with the serious face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll just have to see whether or not he is suave enough to talk green women into stripping down to their panties.
While using way too many periods in every single sentence.
And if he has the singing voice.
Hey, no one can top Leonard Nimoy's Bilbo Baggins, the most famous Hobbit of them all.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So now we're have to throw that onto all of my hashtags.
Yeah, hashtag Bilbo. With a B.
Scratch that out. Okay. Absolute last thing on the list, and this time I mean it. And that is
Just killed Mark.
I'm dying. It's fine.
my dead fiance. There is going to be a prequel of the Supernatural, and that is the Winchesters. They've cast the parents, the characters of John and Mary. Oddly enough, or I guess in my opinion, they did not choose the actors who played young John and Mary in the show.
Which connects directly to my comment. Didn't we already see this multiple times?
Yes, but we only saw, lots of it. So now we get to see more. Oh my god. The woman who's playing Mary,
Mm-hmm.
he's in one of Scarlett's favorite movies.
Yeah, it's the chick from Zombies.
Yeah.
I know.
So she went from Disney Channel as a zombie cheerleader.
She's not a zombie.
No,
She's an alien.
she's the one. Isn't she the one with the white hair who puts on the blonde wig?
Yes.
And like, what are they? They're like the mighty prawns or shrimp or some shit.
It's the prawns. Yep.
Yeah,
I've
watched
seen that movie at least 20 times. That's not a joke.
So she's going from that.
I've seen that movie more times than I've seen movies I actually like.
You're the one who decided to procreate.
That was only half my decision.
Fair enough.
But yeah, they're doing a whole story.
It was 25% MCU's fault, at least for their youngest.
Yeah, that's true. But yes, the whole story is based around John discovering things about his dad, becoming a hunter, which was a retcon, by the way. Mary being a hunter.
Right, she grows up in a hunter family.
She grows up in a hunter family.
I don't know what story they're going to tell that we don't already know.
Yeah, because we already know what happened. We know how they met. We know their family histories.
Mm-hmm.
We know how they became hunters. We know how he became one of the, the men of the, what is it called? How John became, whatever the fuck. It's not men in waiting, because that's a different thing. Whatever. The fucking supernatural hunter people that they eventually become a part of.
Oh, right.
The men, whatever the fuck they're called.
Men in tights. Tights!
Exactly. We already know how all that happened. So what
Yes.
story are they telling here?
Them going to Lover's Lane and making Dean.
We already saw that too, I think. Didn't we?
I thought we just saw her pregnant with Sam.
Does it matter?
Well, maybe she got knocked up before the wedding, and we just
Well,
don't know. They'll
is it-
tell us.
Possible that Jeffrey Dean Morgan shows up and kills both of them from the future,
Oh God, that would be so awesome.
and it ends on episode 1.
I literally have no clue what you guys are talking about.
Oh, I'm just as lost as you are.
Oh,
I've never seen. The only experience I've ever had with Supernatural is opening a restaurant and it from 10 to 11, right? It's on TBS because they had basketball on the night before.
TNT.
TNT, yeah, because we had basketball on the night before. I'm like, oh, yeah, fucking Lakers must have been on last night. Click.
Right.
Well, you know who
Put it back on Sports Center.
My stupid closers didn't put on the freaking ESPN channels after the game got over at 11 o'clock at night, so I have to change.
Yeah, it's 11. They probably shut down that half of the dining room and just moved everything into the bar.
You know who Jeffrey Dean Morgan is, though, right?
Oh, he
There's
didn't
no
have a
half
bar.
that restaurant.
That's right. Never mind.
It's all one restaurant.
They
Anyway,
better know who he is.
Supernatural
You know,
is always on
you
the
know who
TV
Jeffrey
next
Dean
week.
Morgan
Of
is.
course, I know who Jeffrey Dean Morgan is.
Okay, he
That's
plays
the only reference that I picked up on is I know who that man is.
he plays the dad of the boys in Supernatural. He's their dad. Like the main two characters, he's their dad. And he gets killed early on, and then he comes back as a ghost, and then he comes back as a fucking imagination thing, and then he I want him to show up.
Guys on that show stays dead, other than Mary, and we still see her a lot.
Yeah. I want him to show up as Negan with Lucille and crack both their fucking skulls and then end the episode. And say, this was an alternate universe. Just gotcha. Because I don't care about this. And it makes me sad because I liked that show.
I honestly stopped watching Supernatural at season 13. Because what was it? 12 is when they went all angel crazy.
They went angel crazy pretty early, so it'd be hard to tell for sure when that happened. Because they went angel crazy in like season 5 for a while there.
Yeah, and then they had like Dean die, and he got brought back from hell, and then Sam die.
They both died at least 5 times during the series. So,
but it got to the point where it was no longer them chasing after supernatural beings; it was just demons
fighting God,
eating pie.
It was them legitimately fighting God, the angels, and Lucifer at one point. Multiple times, and then the Antichrist, and then they fought the idea of like oblivion and death, and it got crazy.
Started around somewhere between seasons 10 and 12, and that's kind of when I lost interest.
I ended up watching the rest of it, and they ended it in a good way at least, but it took fucking too long to get there.
Weren't there like
I
15
have not
seasons
yet
of this?
finished the series.
15.
15, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It should have ended after season 3 or 5.
I would say 5.
10 seasons.
It was still decent up through season 5.
And there's pieces that are interesting. They get into a war with like the Norse gods and stuff like that, and that's kind of cool. But it was stretched. It was supposed to end after 3 seasons. That was supposed to be at the end of the series. And then they said, okay, let's do 2 more. We have a story we can tell here. And then it was supposed to end after 5. And then somehow they got to 15. So I don't know.
Because the fan service got to be crazy. It left, what was it, like the CW or whatever, and went over to TNT or TBS or whatever the fuck it was. And the producers basically said, we'll keep making this show as long as Jensen and Jared want to make the show.
It stayed on CW the entire time. They just started syndicating it to every other fucking thing.
Right.
Yeah. But it was after the 5th season or the 6th season or whatever, where the writers and the producers said, as long as Jensen and Jared want to keep doing the show, we'll keep coming up with more shit for them to do.
And that's exactly what happened. More shit. A lot of
So
shit.
really, at what point, Tank, do you think the show actually jumped the shark?
Legitimately.
Legitimately went too fucking far.
Oh God, that's hard to call. I'd say probably 7-ish. Is where it's like, all right, this is fucking weird now. What are we doing? Whenever they
Not that I'm going to watch it that far. I was just curious.
whenever they had to fight the Leviathans, which I can't remember at this point.
Don't know.
When they did the whole feeding people like angelic fat goo to make them more edible. I don't know. Whenever that happened.
I am so confused.
And I think
I
we've just
watched the show and I'm
seasons
confused,
too long
okay?
talking about this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is
All right.
stupid and pointless. If you want to watch Supernatural, watch up to season 5. Really good show. After that, just say fuck it and move on with your life.
Edible goo.
It
Fat
was
angel edible goo.
but it was made out of angels instead of people.
Yeah, kind of. It was made out of like
edible
weird
goo.
Leviathan angel pre-cosmic power goo that they fucking
was
put
angel
into
punk.
food.
Okay, when you said edible angel Leviathan preak, I thought you were going somewhere else.
I went there.
I was like, wait, whoa!
We're talking holy edible spoo.
Yeah, it could have been jizz. I don't know. I'm not sure.
They were not young, but they were dumb and full of cum.
Yeah.
Angel spunk.
But yeah, I don't. This
Write
seems
that
like,
hashtag down. Yep. You know that's coming.
this seems like an ill-conceived idea that is pointless. That's my opinion.
I kind of want to name this episode, the Goon Brothers joined for Angel Spunk, but I'm not gonna. I want to, but
They
that
do
can't be posted on Facebook.
I mean,
Even though we're Facebook Live right now.
Dean does talk a lot about angel jizz, so I mean that is
That's because he has this whole gay.
that does happen quite a bit, actually. A weird amount of times there is weird angelic sex talk.
Yeah, there's a lot of sex with demons too, and like drinking their blood in a non-vampiric way.
Yeah.
And on that note,
wow.
Let's go ahead and Matt, you want to read off the socials for you guys, and then we'll do it for us.
Yeah, let's make sure you check us out on our social channels. You can find us on Twitch and Twitter at The Idiot Goons. Search for us on Facebook at My Brother is an Idiot. Mark's Twitter is Poffeltime. My Twitter at Poffelupagus. Also, if you'd like to learn more about barbecue, food, and the gaslighting that Gen Z is trying to do to Generation X with one of our pop icons, check us out at King Goon Smoke.
Or don't.
Hey, I like meat.
You had me up until you got into the gaslighting, like.
Dude, here's the thing. I saw, no lie, in the span of about half an hour of scrolling TikTok the night before, I saw no fewer than 5 different TikToks of people trying to tell me it wasn't Mama Say, Mama Sa, Baba Kusa. And I'm like, no fuckers. No, I will not let this stand. Not at all.
All right, so TikTok is the problem. So just delete
TikTok
that
is the problem.
phones.
So we can go ahead and just end it there.
You can find Nerds That Know on pretty much all social platforms under Nerds That Know. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, all the things. You can listen to this in a non-visual format on pretty much anything that uses Anchor or Podbean to then spread the joy to the masses. Follow Tank at Knox Nostalgia Collectibles. Buy your overpriced SheHulk. If he can get a copy for you, I'm sure he can
I can find one for
somebody
you. I
up for it.
don't got any myself right now.
But your other books and such, and collectibles through him. And you can follow Duchess Bobby on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. There will be semi-nude people as well as my own personal thoughts and rantings.
Also, catch my new blog about primordial goo and how it ruined Supernatural.
Fantastic. You know what? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles used that ooze.
Yeah.
No, do not do that. That is the ooze from Daredevil.
We watched The Secret of the Ooze last night.
That's a
We
great
did.
movie.
Go ninja, go ninja, go ninja, go. Sorry.
There were too many Go Ninjas.
I don't care. Okay. We're done now. Bye, everybody.
Adios.
It's time for dead. Time for dead.
See ya.
Time.
I'm for dead.
Bruh.
Time.
Dead am I.